A song for the season. It's the time of deepening shadows, the time of long, cold nights. As sun gives way to darkness, we reach for the candle's light. Shadows that appear after twilight hold memories of days long ago. We make them part of the circle, and they add to the fire's glow. Starshine and darkness are blended as we gather with those we hold dear. And the past is present among us at this luminous time of the year.
Away. making musical history tonight here in Milwaukee. I'm blessed to talk about Irving Berlin, who wrote White Christmas. Tell me about the sound. Can you hear me okay? Is this all right? Okay? The song that changed Christmas forever. Irving Berlin's White Christmas shaped the holiday and its music. Although both the classic 1942 musical, I'm debating about this, I'll start over. Although the 1942 movie musical and the Broadway production of Holiday Inn, you need to bring this down. I'm not comfortable with it. Okay.
There we go.
The Broadway production of Holiday Inn was crammed with spectacular production numbers involving entire chorus lines and elaborate sets and costumes. The uncontested highlight is the quietest song in the show, White Christmas. Near the end of Act 1, the singer and songwriter portrayed by Bing Crosby in the film sits down at the piano and plays his newest composition, White Christmas, for his leading lady. That brief moment in a Hollywood musical, released 8 months into World War II, led to a sea change in American culture. The modern celebration of Christmas scarcely existed at all before the war. There was only one classic Christmas song written in the 1930s, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and only one major Hollywood Christmas movie, the 1938 adaptation of Dickens' Christmas Carol. The prevailing showbiz wisdom was, if it makes little sense to invest money and energy in a product that was saleable for only a short time each year. Legend has it that composer Irving Berlin was in Hollywood working on a movie and missing his family in New York when he conceived of White Christmas. The song's verse tells of an Easterner stuck in Beverly Hills, LA, where the shining sun and the swaying orange and palm trees made him nostalgic for a White Christmas, just like the one he used to know. According to historian Jody Rosen, Berlin's first idea was to write a comedy song. He was going to kind of get laughs from the contrast between sunny California and a traditional Northwestern winter scene. But from the day that Berlin first brought White Christmas into his office in January 1940, 75 years ago, it was clear that this was no novelty number. There's an emotional resonance to the song not found in the likes of Jingle Bells. This bittersweet quality is likely connected, as Mr. Rosen knows, to the death of Berlin's only son, Irving Jr., who died as an infant on Christmas Day, 1928. The composer's new idea was to place the song in the middle of a movie about an inn that doubled as a nightclub and presented songs for each of the major holidays. At the start of that, Berlin perfectly captured the zeitgeist. The situation in Europe had long been on his mind by then, and the song's first audience comprised only of soldiers and those on the home front who embraced it as a prayer for peace. Berlin couldn't have predicted that his song would have opened the floodgates to Christmas music, a deluge that continues unabated. White Christmas arrived just in time for the development of the LP, the long-playing record, and television, the two mediums that virtually invented Christmas as a commercial commodity. Bing Crosby's record is still recognized as the most successful single of all time, and more importantly, changed the way we think about holidays. Remarkably, the lyrics to White Christmas evoke neither Jesus nor Santa Claus, and they promise neither salvation nor choo-choo trains. Rather, it created its own holiday mythology with itself as the center, as a hymn for peace, love, and family. Whoops.
In 1818, a roving band of actors was performing in towns throughout the Austrian Alps. On December 23rd, they arrived at Obendorf, a village near Salzburg, where they were to reenact the story of Christ's birth in the small church of St. Nicholas. Unfortunately, the St. Nicholas church organ wasn't working and would not be repaired in time for Christmas. The actors decided to present their Christmas drama in a private home. Well, after the church presentation, Assistant Pastor Joseph Moore was in a meditative mood, taking a longer way home, which led up to a path overlooking the village. From that hilltop, Moore looked down on the peaceful, snow-covered village and the glowing Christmas card-like scene. His thoughts about the Christmas play he had just seen made him remember a poem that he had written a couple years before about the night when angels announced the birth of the long-awaited Messiah to shepherds on a hillside. Moore decided those words might make a good carol for his congregation the following evening at their Christmas Eve service. The problem was that he didn't have any music to which that poem could be sung. Well, the next day he went to see the church organist, Franz Gruber, and asked him to come up with a melody to be sung with guitar. He only had a few hours, but by that evening, Gruber had managed to compose a musical setting for the poem, and it no longer mattered that the church organ was inoperable. On Christmas Eve, the little Obendorf congregation heard Gruber and Moore sing their new composition to the accompaniments of Gruber's guitar. Weeks later, well-known organ builder Karl Machracher arrived in Obendorf to fix the organ in the St. Nicholas Church. When he finished, he let Gruber test the instrument. When Gruber sat down, his fingers began playing the simple melody he had just written. Deeply impressed, Machracher took copies of the music and words of Silent Night back to his own alpine village of Kupfing. There, two well-known families of singers, the Rainers and the Strassers, heard it. Captivated by Silent Night, both groups put the new song into their Christmas season repertoire. The Strasser sisters spread the carol across Northern Europe. In 1834, they performed Silent Night for King Frederick William IV of Prussia, who then ordered his cathedral choir to sing it every Christmas Eve. 20 years after Silent Night was written, the Rainers brought the song to the United States, singing it in German at the Alexander Hamilton Monument located outside New York City's Trinity Church. In 1863, nearly 50 years after being sung in German, Silent Night was translated into English. Today, the words of Silent Night are sung in more than 300 different languages around the world.